What's going on, everyone? Got a new one for you today. Here we got the 9070 XT paired with the 9700X, and we're going to run through it in Avatar today, and we are even going to check out the Unobtanium settings, which I have enabled. In the description, I'll have instructions on how to do that if you're interested in doing that yourself. It's a hidden setting, and yeah, let's just get into it. Right here, we are at low settings. And we're just checking it out here, full native, so no upscaling. We're at 60, barely 60. So I would say that from here on out, we just need to at least enable quality, just to make sure that our frame rate is high enough. Since this is at low settings, we really don't want to explore anything that just renders us, kind of pointless to check out things that are actually playable. All right, so here we are. Let's just jump into it and come in here and just enable that upscaling real quick. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are at Ultra Quality. There's actually a one tier higher than Quality on this game. So this is Ultra Quality, and that gives us 78 FPS here. And our PCL is around 33 milliseconds, which is kind of nice. And we're just going to keep on rolling through it and see what all we can expect as we go through these settings. This is a very dense forest, which is incredibly difficult to run. So if it does well here, it should do well in less intensive areas. At least that's my, that's my thought with these tests. So if it runs well here, it'll run well everywhere else, and you won't have to mess with your settings too much. So right here, we're at 80 FPS and still about 33 milliseconds on our PCL. So that's really good to see. All right, so let's jump back into it and do another quick adjustment here. Let's just go up to the very next level of medium settings. Going to go ahead and apply that. And we're just going to keep working on this until we get to the point where we need to do additional upscaling. So right here, we're at 70 FPS or so, and we have 36 milliseconds on our PCL, which is quite nice. Everything does look really, really sharp, and, of course, ultra quality is extremely high. But yeah, we are looking about 66 FPS here. And again, 4K resolution, 9070 XT, handling one of the most recent games that are, this is a very intensive title, extremely intensive. And, it's handling it just fine here at medium. So let's just keep going up in our quality settings and see what all we can expect and see when we need to do additional upscaling. So we're going to jump into it here, go over to graphics and kick it up to high. And we're getting closer and closer to that unobtainium setting. If you are interested in doing that, again, the instructions are below in the description. It's quite easy, especially through Steam. It's just a little command line you pop in there and it'll enable it. But right here, we are at 56 FPS on high settings. Our PCL is around 40 milliseconds, which is still really good. Anything under 50 milliseconds on mouse and keyboard is fine. If you are a controller player, then I would say anything under 80 milliseconds feels pretty good. That's just my own personal, how I feel about it. So, the best thing to do is just, check it out for yourself. I just wanted to give you guys the PCL. Since it's quite small, I like to call that out as I play. But yeah, we are looking about 70 FPS up here. Let's just jump over here and see what all we can expect if we just keep going. I'm going to do a quick adjustment to my upscaling, go up to that quality setting, simply because it is dipping under 60 here and there. So we're going to go over to quality, apply that. All right, so let's see. Nothing else changed from the last setting, but quality gives us a little bit more FPS. And again, quality is still amazing at 4K. You can even go down to performance on 4K and still have a really, really nice looking image. So right here at 72 FPS, and our PCL is right around 32 milliseconds. So going up to quality gave us a lot more response time back. It makes sense. You're rendering it at slightly lower resolution in the background, so it does increase your response rate. All right, so right here, 75, 76, 77, still looking really, really strong here. Everything does, still look really great. Again, quality is amazing at 4K. So let's jump back into it and go up to our very next level. Let's go up to Ultra. And this is the kind of out-of-the-box max setting without doing any unobtainium overriding. So let's go ahead and let that do its thing. It's just applying it real quick, and we'll get back into it. All right, so that gives us a little bit more of a hit, of course. But, you know, that's to be expected. We're still at 65, 66 FPS here. And our PCL is right around 33 milliseconds, 34, 40. All right, so PCL is still looking really, really strong. So we're just going to keep on rolling through it. We're dipping down into the 50s here and there. So I believe right now would be a pretty good time to go up to a balanced upscale if you're, you know, after this kind of setting. So let's do that now. Let's go in here, kick on the balanced preset here. Let me jump down here and do that. All right, so this is balanced. I'm going to do this real quick and jump back into it. All right, so that gives us a nice little lift. Back up this low 60s, mid 60s. Going from quality to balanced, I have found in majority of titles is not nearly the jump that going from like native to quality or from quality to performance provides. It kind of just takes the edge off, and it does give you a, you know, if you're close to that 60 and you really want to hit 60, going to a balanced, you know, definitely it'll take care of it, but it's not as strong of an upscale as you know, those two other settings as far as differences goes. So the difference between native and quality is much stronger than quality to balanced. So that's really all I'm trying to say. But yeah, we're just going to keep on rolling through it and jump back down here. Let's see, we're in the 70s now. PCL is about 40 milliseconds still, so that's quite nice. So what I'm going to do now is go up on my upscaling, just kind of jump into performance since we're going to need it moving forward. All right, so let's jump into it now. So this is performance on 4K. That gives you 85 FPS here. And our PCL should have gone down a little bit. Yeah, it did. Okay, we're about 30 milliseconds on our PCL now. So not only do you get more, you know, performance, more FPS, but you also get much better response time when you start to upscale. So, you know, everything does look really good, though. VRAM allocation is pretty high. It's 14.8. There's 16 on this card, but used is still under control. Used is 11.2. So as we creep up in these settings at 4K, you're going to see more and more VRAM being, you know, utilized. So that's normal and to be expected. But yeah, everything does look really good here. Temps are fine. So let's just keep going and see what we can do on Unobtanium. So if you clicked on this, this is probably the reason you did, you wanted to check it out. So let me jump over here and get to the right thing. So this will be Unobtanium. Go ahead and apply that, and let's see what we can expect here. So Unobtanium is incredibly intensive, as you can see. We're in the 44 FPS range. Our PCL jumped up to about 55 milliseconds, but the good thing is, even though our FPS is under 60, our PCL indicates that we can do some frame generation without sacrificing a lot of latency, because, you know, as you can remember, anything under 50 on mouse and keyboard is typically fine. You know, and once we do some frame generation, it will definitely you know, hurt our PCL a little bit. But if you are on a controller, you know, that difference might not be as big of a deal. So let's just jump over into it and see what we can expect. So Unobtanium, yeah, really intensive, 48, 44 FPS here in the thick of it. I mean, this is an incredibly dense forest, so if it runs well here, it should run well everywhere else. That's my thought. So let's just jump over and see what we can do with a little bit more upscaling first. And then we'll check out some, you know, frame generation options that we have. So let's go to Ultra Performance. And let's do that, and let's see about potentially sharpening it up a little bit because, you know, this is a pretty strong upscale. So let's go to 8 here. We're not doing frame generation, so we shouldn't have any sort of issues with ghosting. All right, so as far as looks go, still looks okay. Still nice and sharp still, but as far as you know, FPS goes, we're definitely not hitting 60 all of the time. but it still looks okay. I mean, we're still we're in the mid 40s, low 40s on our PCL. So that's promising. So hopefully with some frame generation, we should be able to get this to be extremely playable and smooth, even though this isn't a fast game. So anything anything over 50 FPS to me is fine. It's, in America, we have 60 hertz televisions and stuff like that, so it's always been 60 for a long time. But in a lot of other parts of the world, 50 is kind of like what the standard is. So, I mean, if 50 FPS is still, good enough for majority of the world when it comes to televisions on the, old school PAL stuff. It's smooth enough. I'll put it that way. But yeah, let's just come over here and jump over into it. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back up to performance, because that was looking good on our PCL as far as doing some frame generation. So what I'm going to do now is kick on some frame gen and apply that. And let's just jump back into it. All right, so with the frame generation on performance, Unobtanium, you are at 80 FPS here. PCL goes away, unfortunately, because the PCL monitor that I use is the NVIDIA FrameView, and whenever you kick on AMD frame generation, it kills the PCL, which sucks. But I can tell you now, it feels fine. I'm on mouse and keyboard. It's extremely responsive, nice and snappy. It doesn't feel bad whatsoever. So I don't want anyone to get the idea that this is like some really sloppy mess. It's not. It feels perfectly fine. I would probably play it this way. Find that it is smooth enough, feels fine. We're not, really dipping into our VRAM at all. We, 16 on this card. We're using 12. Now it's allocating every bit of it, but it's only using about 12 gigs. So we're still looking okay there. All right, so let's just jump into the remainder of it. I want to see what we can do here on Ultra Performance with FrameGen enabled. So let's jump into here and get to the right tab. That would work. All right, so let's come into here and go to Ultra Performance. We still have FrameGen enabled, so let's do that. All right, so let's kick it on. So Ultra Performance, that does, of course, increase your FPS a good bit, but, is it worth it? It feels just as responsive in my opinion. And we did get a slight break on our VRAM allocation by going up in our upscaling. So, this is kind of like a option 1, option 2 kind of approach if you want to run Unobtanium at 4K. Can you run Unobtanium at 4K on the 9070 XT? Absolutely. This is a very, very, very playable experience on what is incredibly intensive. And most cards would be falling apart right now, but this thing's holding on just fine. And hopefully this answers your question. If you were wondering about this setting with this particular card at 4K, here you go. It runs it just fine. So I'm going to wrap up. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. If you're not new here, thanks for coming back. I really enjoy my repeat offenders. You guys are awesome, and you keep me going. I thank you for all the questions. If you have any questions, please drop them down below, and we'll get to talking. But yeah, with all that said, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.